Standing somewhere in the middle of the cobblestone road, your head suffers from a tension. A tension similar to the feeling of loaded air before a heavy rainfall or thunderstorm. A pressure from within the skull pushes on the inside of your head, which now feels too small to contain its load. Thoughts refuse to arrange. This haziness allows for soaking in the late afternoon sun, enjoying its warmth on your body. At the curve of the hillside cobblestone road, which appears to be the end, thin clouds are passing by. The sky has a soft, peach, almost pink color, with here and there pieces of blue peering through. The brightness of the sun is not held back by the misty atmosphere, and the light finds its way easily to the road. Taking some steps upward slightly shifts the end of the road, together with the glare emanating from the cobblestones. The sun's reflection creates the illusion of movement when taking a step. This moving glare is caused by a multitude of silver lines which cover the grey surface of the cobblestones. The lines are reflecting the sunlight onto the green leaves that encompass the road, as if they are being projected on their surface. Each cobble is embedded with such a single silver line. The line follows a random shape but stays parallel with the road. The line follows a path from point A, located at the center of one edge, to point B, located at the opposite edge, also precisely centered. This way, the lines of all the cobbles connect on the edges, forming rows of vein-like chains that go as far as the eye reaches. Reading the explanation in the book on information, it says, a cobble is a class of rock defined on the Uden-Wentworth scale as having a particular size between 64 and 265 millimeters, larger than a pebble and smaller than a boulder. The book also says that this road has been built slightly after the adoption of the one God who claims the one truth. Never visited this strange place before. You wonder how once such an important structure now is left abandoned. But no one really seems to care but the last soul. The times of frequent use did take its toll on the cobbles, leaving them chipped, scratched and stained. Now moss has started to cover the edges. Here and there patches of moss even started covering bigger parts of the road, promising its future disappearance. The only life seems to resonate from the silver lines, their glow being preserved. When looking closer, you see that they are sticking out slightly, similar to the veins elevated underneath your skin. The silver lines have survived time better than their stone bodies, which deteriorated faster, giving the silver its elevated position. It must have a certain strength, harder than the regular silver alloy used for jewelry. When scratching it with your titanium knife, not even a small scratch is made. Indeed, it is strong. Myth has it that the road was built under the rule of a priestess king in honor of the one way, offered by the one God whose calculations divided all. Each division is unique, they preached. Together, they form the whole hyper-object, which is the Creator itself. The subjects to the priestess king state, all paid for one of the cobbles. So for each head of the state, there lays a cobble, at least for each head that had the money to offer to an ultimate present, but intangible God. The amount of money the person invested became visible in the silver line that ran on top of their cobble. The longer and thus more complex the line, the richer the person. There have been teams of researchers lately, the book on information says, that categorized all the stones and together with the information of the public bank of that time, coupled each stone to a face. The complexity of the line seems to resonate with the lines in the face of the generous, which are furrowed and stern. They must must have been brooding a long time to raise so much money for just a gobble in the road. When entering the archive, their faces stare back from the wall, present at their feet, even though they are just portraits. A replica of the cobblestone that they gave is present. Walking through this enormous archive, you get disorientated the best by the lines now laying apart. Luckily, this was yesterday. Today, exactly in the middle of the road, where once the archive stood, only a slight difference in the vegetation is noticeable. Trees are much smaller here. The archive has been moved to the city, where all activity is taking place nowadays. At exact the middle of this sacred road, laughter escapes you for no reason in particular. Guessing it's a combination of the dazzling heat, the nonsense of the mind in which this road lays rooted, and the joy that is felt after escaping a turbulent and tiresome situation. Escaping the city that used you as intensely as you used it is a necessity. It must be said, timing stays key, as with all our movements. Reason why this road called you? Not only it's best to treat the sickness at its root, it's also a wonderful place to hide. The grid, their temple, is not far from here. Since everyone is too busy with staying in check, meaning cooperation, meaning spending as much time in the amusement park as possible, there is no such a thing as interest in who designed the temple, let alone security to protect their source of sources, the grid. The Book of Information says the grid was established by joining the most purified quantities of all the elements, done by putting these elements on the Cartesian coordinate system in a particular order, which was done by the priestess king. One thing the Book on Information fails to tell is that there is actually one element missing. How to know this is true? Knowing is just one tool. Its use got us quite far. But let's say it's only 1/5 of the components that make us who we are. Your thinking still wavers. Mostly emotions come to the surface, of which there are no proper words. Not that they are rude or something, far from that. They just fail to form comprehensible patterns. The only images that rise seem to be distorted or made up by another being that is not you. The letter is still there in the back pocket of your jeans. It asks you what to be if you want to be part of a research on mental development. You got it from the institute where you were working for. It feels like the name is hiding something. An invisible structure withholding you from fully grasping what is it they want you to sign up for. Only stating it's beneficial for your community and a decreasing of risk. You catch your breath. The train of thoughts passes, and it all seems clear for some moments. Did you put yourself in this situation, or were you pushed by external inputs? Since you have been definitely misunderstood, even to such a degree that they needed to give you a mark. In order to understand yourself better, but more important, they will understand you, or at least arrange you in space, so the whole situation starts making sense again. On what premises do we order the world around us? This one being playing the role of judge, justifying its position together with the like-minded. Can it stop? Stop! Leave these words alone. They don't need you to repeat them to conserve their existence. This story is enough. Enough of itself. Your breathing seems to get out of control again. The glimmering lines of the road, the only parts to hold on to. When you close your eyes, their image resonates on your retina. A pattern of squares made of black rippling lines and with surfaces and white surfaces appears. You open your eyes again, becoming a different person in the moment. Thoughts race on. You don't hold on to this freight train too long until it spins you out. Out, out you go. The cage broke and you are rising to pieces. Stardust they call. The final element stored in your chest plays you a soft and comfortable rhythm. The first vibration you felt. The last that will lull you to sleep.